Set the scene for us today.
Yeah, well, it's a misty, cold morning again here in Hanoi. It's supposed to heat up later in the week, but right now kind of chilly as we are awaiting the arrival at Dong Dang, the border crossing between China and Vietnam. Any minute now of Kim Jong Un. He will be arriving on his heavily armored train through China that he's been traveling over the last couple of days. He will get off the train, of course, between China and Vietnam. They have different gauge tracks, different trains. So you'll have to get off, cross by foot, and then take a car to come down here and stay at a hotel not too far from here on the other side of the lake. We're hearing, and in fact, we're just getting photos of tanks on the streets of Hanoi, heavy armored police presence as well. Soldiers are present on the streets around what is expected to be the main venues of the summit over the next couple of days as the two leaders, Donald Trump and Kim Jong Un, converge on what they're calling is the city for peace, Hanoi. But tanks on the street right now to make sure that the participants are all safe.
Yeah, that's quite a juxtaposition, talks for peace and flanked by tanks there. But in all seriousness, Steve, what are we expecting out of the second summit? Because the first one, it was big on grandeur, on it being a historic milestone of the meeting between the two leaders, but very short on detail. Do we expect more of that substance this time?
Well, that's what the aim is, of course. You need to move the ball forward from that Singapore summit in June of last year, where there were four main points that were fairly vague. And in fact, one of the main points was that the two sides agreed to, quote, work towards complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. What does it mean to work towards something? We did not get specifics or timetables, and the North Koreans we're hearing have been more reluctant on the issue of inspections and verifications. And in fact, in past talks, six-party talks, they've all collapsed because of North Korea's reluctance to give in to demands for verification and total inspection. So, yes, we need a lot more meat on the bones on those declarations that were made in Singapore.
Right. Ostensibly, everything right now is working towards those talks. So, right, Steve, to something that crossed the Bloomberg terminal yesterday, the possibility of a peace deal here. Of course, this is in contrary to what's happening right now with the armistice between North and South Korea. Is a peace deal possible?
Right. We're hearing through the South Koreans, through local media in South Korea, that a peace deal between Trump and Kim could happen at this summit. We're not sure yet because you would think that the other parties in the war back in the 1950s would also want to be involved, and that being China and Russia as well. But it could happen. But again, that could undermine the U.S. position as well. If you sign a peace deal, that could basically legitimize the North's hold on North Korea and the northern part of the peninsula, and also give argument that why would the United States need its nuclear umbrella over the peninsula and its 28,000 soldiers that are stationed there. So, there's a lot of ramifications for signing a peace deal, but it's probably the lowest hanging fruit that they could both deliver. Before I go, though, I do want to share some of these, the entrepreneur spirit in Hanoi. I bring up these T-shirts simply because about 44,000 people have retweeted these T-shirts on a tweet that I did a couple of days ago. Not quite viral, but pretty good. There's tons of T-shirts. The city's going mad for this summit. There's Rocket Man. I mean, you can name just about any kind of different T-shirt. You can find it on the streets. I like this one personally the best. It's a good likeness of the president there. And, of course, maybe this is a younger picture of Donald Trump and Kim Jong Un. But we're in full swing here.